Welcome back. We're gonna do one more mutation to really remember how to do these mutations. I think they are one of the most important things, and it's something that is really worth remembering. Remember. Okay, so let's create a new hook and call it use edit transaction HS. And now we can Command B and close this. And so what I want to do is when I click here and I want to change it to imagine like, oh, sorry, it was actually 14. I click enter and it should actually, do a little put, but it's not doing no put. So we're going to type this from the start just to remember. Let's say export const, not in this window, but this window. Export const, use edit transaction. Wow, that was hard. Okay, cool. And the first thing we need to do is create a mutation. So I'm going to say const mutation equals use mutation. And we need to create our fetch function, which is again a fetch. So we're going to say fetch. And we're going to get the API URL. And it's the same thing as the last one we did for the delete. So we need the API URL and then a slash and then the ID. So we need the ID here. That makes sense. We need the ID and there we go. So we do this and then we need, all the other options. So we need a method. And in this case, to update, it's a put. There we go. Almost sort of full entire line without a mistake. And then we have the headers. And again, content type. I know, I get it. This is not what you paid for. And application/JSON. Wait, this is on YouTube. Oh, JSON. I just said JSON instead of, no wait, that's the same thing. Never mind. So body. And now in here, I still have to pass everything. It doesn't really support, just passing the description, for example, or just the amount. So just a JSON stringify is good enough. So let's do that. So JSON.stringify, and then we pass an amount and we pass a description, which means we also need this. Okay, so we need an amount here and we need a description. Okay, cool. And let's return this mutation and let's not do anything else for now, just to make sure that it works. Turn mutation. Okay, cool. So I already have the function here. And I want to comment this out. But what I want to do is say, I want to import the edit. So const edit mutation. And that is equal to use edit transaction. There we go. All makes sense so far. And now I call edit mutation, then mutate. And let me do a wait here because it's a promise in this case. It's whatever you want it to be, That's the beauty of it. And async, and now you can mutate this. And so we need to pass the amount, the ID, which is the transaction that underscore ID, let's not forget that part, and the description. We need the description as well, which is transaction.description. Let me make sure that it is description. Yes, it is. I don't want that happening again. Technically, right? Listen to this. Technically, this should work. So if I go to lunch now and I click 14, hit enter. Why did I say enter? And now reload the page. It is 14. But let's do all of that magic that we usually do. Right. So the first thing I want to do is say that in here, on success, I want to set editing to false. That's it. That's all I want to do. So I want to close this and refetch it. So in here, we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to say on success. And we're going to say all of the rest of the ReactQuery callbacks. Callbacks, default to an empty object. And now after the function, we say on success. And we call a pretty function on it. And this is not on the right, I don't think this is in the right place. No, it actually is. It's fine. No, it's not because I'm missing this. Wow. Wow. So in here, we want to say, okay, if I passed a non-success, then call it. Cool? Cool. That's it. But I also want to invalidate the queries. So let's again fetch the query client from use query client. And in here, we're going to say query client that invalidate queries. And we're going to pass the query name that I forgot right now. Let me see if I can. No, it was the transactions query. There we go. And we also pass all the rest of the callbacks. So we can have things like on error and everything. And we don't have to write everything here. Okay, so now, technically, and I would like to specify that it's technically, it should work. So if I come here and I change the lunch from 14 to 12 and I save, it updates. And as you can see, it updates everywhere. So if I change this to 1, you can see that the balance and the income also update, which is quite cool. I mean, the income doesn't update, only if I change the salary to 2020. Now you can see that the income also changed. So yeah, I just want you to like remember this syntax. So first you call use mutation, you pass whatever fetch function you have to update the actual database API, whatever you have. And then you can pass these callbacks like on success, on error. And in here, the world is your oyster. You do whatever you want. You have access to all of the query, to the query client, and you can change whatever you want. Cool? Cool. Okay, that's about it for mutations. In the next video, I'm just gonna mention one or two things that are like small tidbits that I found to be very useful. Like when you have dependent queries, like you only want to load a query when, I don't know, the user is Sarah, something like that. So this is very like small things that I want to show about this. But yeah, cool. That's about it. That's about it for today, and I'll see you in the next one.